The RSPCA claims the XL bully ban is failing to protect the public. Since it came into effect, thousands of dogs, all suspected to be banned breeds, have been seized. Hundreds have been euthanised. However, attacks have continued. Last year, there were 10 dog-related deaths. It's actually higher than before the ban. The RSPCA says the law currently focuses on how a dog looks rather than its behaviour. It says instead we need to encourage more responsible dog ownership. But how about bringing back dog licences, Bobby? The reason we got rid of them is because people weren't compliant. They just weren't joining in with the scheme at all. So why should we bring them back, do you think?
So in the UK and further afield, there's that phrase that man's, or woman's nowadays, best friend is a dog. And I know my friends that have dogs and have pets, they'll say that actually having a dog is one of life's greatest joys, but this also comes with serious responsibility. Obviously, the current status quo is there are, I think, microchips, I think compulsory since 2014, but these are invisible to the public, and often they could be ignored. And I think what a licence does, it's a visible proof that the owner is committed, accountable and traceable. And it sends out a signal that actually that owning a dog is something that's an important responsibility, not just to the dog, but to wider society. And I think there are other countries that follow this sort of model. Germany in municipalities, New Zealand, Australia, and this leads to a society where there are safer dogs, fewer attacks and less abandonment. So actually, if you're someone that's a dog lover, I think dog licensing will actually improve to better welfare for dogs and better safety for members of the public.
I mean, a dog in the wrong hands, Carole, is a weapon.
Of course it's a weapon.
And, you know, if you don't have, if we were handing out weapons, you know,
well,
a gun, you need a licence for a gun, you know, so why wouldn't you say a dog needs the same kind of care and attention and accountability?
Tell me what difference a dog licence makes to attacking someone. It makes no difference whatsoever. It's a £12. It's a scam. It's a money-making scam. You know, it's not going to make any difference at all to the dog attacks because the responsible dog owners don't own XL bullies. They don't own dogs that are reputed to hurt people. And sensible dog owners make sure their dogs don't attack people. And that's the ones you'd be punishing. It's the XL bully owners. They're never going to buy a dog licence, not in a million years. They don't care. They're the ones who kick against the traces. This will make no difference. A dog licence will make no difference at all to dog attacks. All it does is it punishes decent, responsible dog owners who already all do the right thing. They have their dog chipped, they have the dog wearing a little tag with its address and a phone number. They do all the right things. And those people's dogs don't attack other people. But it's these ones, it's these dangerous dogs. And the people who own them don't care about the law. And they would never buy a dog licence. So all you're doing is hurting decent dog owners.
I mean, it's an opportunity there, as you give out the licence, to say you need to do a course. You need to spend time understanding the responsibility that comes with the dog.
Most people don't that.
It's not just
Most
something...
dog owners go on a training course with their dog. I did. The minute mine was old enough to do it, I took him on a training course. I met dozens of other people on training courses. Decent dog owners do all of that in the first place. Your XL bully guys...
Is that your dog there?
That's my doggy. That's opening his Christmas presents.
Oh, OK. I'll let you off. I thought he'd rip the sofa to shreds there.
No.
Anyway,
that's
listen,
the one chance he gets to be mad.
Stay with us. We want to hear what you think. Does bringing back dog licences make sense to you? Should everyone have to go through some kind of application process? You're a dog owner, would you be happy to go through that process of getting a licence to show that you were responsible? 0207862 2222. Let's take a call. Penny's in Devon. Penny, are you a dog owner? Would you happily have a licence?
Yes, I would. Certainly, I would. Because you don't give keys to a person to go out and drive a car when they have never driven a car before. They're taking the killing machine out on the road.
Yeah.
So why would you give carte blanche to somebody who sorry, there's somebody at my door.
They want to have their say. I understand.
Always say. Sorry about that. You don't give somebody the chance to just go along to a breeder to buy a dog and not have any knowledge about how to bring it up.
Penny, how would a licence help, Penny? In that it's a £12.50 piece of paper. How is that going to help in terms of dog attacks?
It's because you have to know how to bring your dog up.
Well, the licence doesn't teach you that.
It is a sociable member of society.
But a licence doesn't teach you that.
No, of course it. No, but the training for a license does.
So that's
I'm
the
not
point.
saying you should just apply for a license and be given a license so
That's
that
what
people
will
know
happen.
where the dog is gone and who owns the dog. What I'm saying is that the owners should have to take training in order to know how to bring a dog up.
But that's the
How
point.
to be sociable.
Penny's point is good. Here, you have an opportunity before somebody gets the dog to say, do you know what you're letting yourself in for? And you've also got something you can take away when things go wrong.
Okay, so I did a bit of reading on this, and they're saying that local authorities don't have the time or the money to do all of that, to actually be teaching people how to do their dogs. There are private training classes you can go to and pay for, and that's what most dog owners do. But local authorities couldn't do that.
Little history lesson. Let's try and remember what the dog licence used to be like, because it's such a long time ago. Here we go. In fact, it's centuries ago that it was introduced. There we go. The Dog Licence Act of 1865 initially cost 7 shillings and 6pence. And it built up a fund. It actually put money in that would compensate farmers and individuals if they suffered damage or harm. It did rely, as you said, Carole, on council dog wardens. They're not there anymore, Bobby, so we'd have to find somebody to enforce this, or it becomes meaningless. Abolished in 1987, because it's reckoned about only half of people who had a dog had a dog licence. Replaced by the Environmental Protection Act 1990, which was about noisy dogs, and the Dangerous Dogs Act of 1991, which we rely on now for breeds which we see as being
but I think it's about changing the culture of dog ownership. But of course, like on the roads, there will be people that have licenses, most people, but there'll be some people out there that won't have license that are driving illegally. So you'll always get the same people looking to cut corners in the system. But I think a dog license with the appropriate training will change the culture. Because in this country, again,
No, Bobby, but dog owners now do. You know, the majority are really responsible people. They have things to do, and they get their dog chipped. It costs money. They have to get their little name and address. That costs money. And then they go for training. They do all the responsible things. You can't legislate for the tiny percentage of people who are nuts and raise these crazy dogs that do attack people.
But then you can't legislate for what a dog looks like.
We don't.
Well, we do at the moment.
No, we don't.
The XL bully law is based on what a dog looks like rather than its behaviour.
But its behaviour is terrible. It killed 8 of the 10 people who died last year. And that's the problem.
We're trying to preempt that. We're trying to stop that happening. At the moment, it's based on what a dog looks like. Let's take some more calls. Debbie's in Leicestershire. Debbie, a dog licence, does it make sense to you?
It definitely does, because it helps the owners more responsible towards their dogs, how to behave with dogs in the park and how to look out for other residents that park users are there. Because when a poodle, I was trying to get out of the way, the dog got in the way and tripped me over, and I was crying out of the impact. I still feel that pain when the winter comes along, and they laughed at me, told me, the dog comes before you, so only about, and took a piss out of me. That made me even more humiliated towards them. This is why I do not let dogs off the lead, and they think they own the park.
How would a dog licence prevent what happened to you, though, Debbie? Because that dog, they would have been through the course.
The dog licence will get taken away from them, and the dog will be taken away from them.
And it wasn't taken away from them. There wasn't a law in place. You couldn't rely on the Dangerous Dogs Act for that dog to be taken away and euthanised. It didn't happen.
I know it didn't, because that has to be the girl that's been bitten, the people that are being attacked, and it has to happen. It should happen because they are actually injured somebody. They need to be looked into a bit more in depth in order to make them more responsible for other people's walkabout in the park or
Debbie,
any other place.
We have laws in place now to do that, and they're not. The courts don't utilise them. You can get up to 14 years in jail for a dangerous dog attack, but it never happens, and it's never going to happen because there's no rooms in our jails. So we have legislation, but people who are held up on these charges, they get piddling little punishments that don't make a damn bit of difference to anyone. Utilise the laws we've got.
Because they are dog lovers, they take the dog away, it will hurt them even more.
You really think that people who own XL bullies and use them to fight and all the rest
if you've
of it?
got, if they haven't got a licence for that dog, then there's the offence straight away. You have an unlicensed dog, and then the dog can be taken away.
Well, the dog could be taken away if it attacks somebody, whether you've got a licence or not.
OK, let's take another call. Thanks for your call, Debbie. And I'm sorry about what happened to you. Tom's in Essex. Tom, would you welcome dog licences for owners?
No, Matt, it's a complete waste of time.
Jeez.
I'm 74, and I grew up with dog licences, and people didn't pay them. Same as like a microchip. People don't get their dogs microchipped. Now, I've got 2 rescue dogs. I belong to a dog rescue charity, and one of my dogs, Tosca, from Poland, she's a German Shepherd. She was let out in London, and the people went back to Poland. Now, her microchip, yes, she was. It was for police, not anything new. So, microchipping's a law.
OK.
You've got to have it.
OK.
But,
Tom, you're right about what you say about the licences, the way they were operated before. We can do things differently now. We've got the chance to start again and say, look, if you want a dog, by all means have one, but you've got to understand the responsibilities because there are costs when things go wrong. So why not bring that in and then say to people, just like, as we were saying earlier on, like driving a car, there are responsibilities with the freedom you're being given.
Oh, yeah, and I agree with the other gentleman. There is so many what hasn't got insurance, so many hasn't got a car licence. So you're not going to stop it.
Yeah, Tom makes a good point that we...
Going back to my point with the dog licence,
go on.
It was done for a post office.
Yeah, that was the way it used to run. I mean, it is a law that you have to have your dog microchipped, Bobby. What's wrong with that, the way it stands at the moment? Because that gives you that accountability, traceability when dogs do the things they shouldn't do.
Yeah, again, even just in terms of PR and wording, a license sounds more important. And again, people get a driving license. You got to get a teaching certificate, a license to teach. I think that license just sends out the message to society, actually, dog ownership is a serious thing. So if you're someone that is keen on getting an XL, perhaps a slightly more dangerous dog, I think it's about changing that culture in the UK. Again, not everyone will go and get the license. There'll be always people trying to find loopholes. But
microchipping is way more important than a dog licence. You know, I found a little dog in Richmond Park a few weeks ago, and it was on its own, lost. And I took it to the vet. I said, "Can you check if it's a microchip?" But we have the owner back in half an hour. Perfect. She'd been looking for it. So they are really important for lost dogs. But the licences do nothing because there's no every council in this country is almost bankrupt. They're not going to start employing dog wardens and people to actually operate.
So you're just saying it's a money issue rather than the actual principle.
This is just a money-raking issue. For the local council will get the money, I'm sure of it, but they're not going to start employing dog wardens on the strength of it and people to police it. It's not going to happen.
Maybe that's part of the structure. And again, if you're starting this idea from scratch, you can have whatever you want. You can have whatever makes sense.
With what
right
money?
Now.
They're all bankrupt.
The licence money that
They're
comes
all
in. Self-funding.
$12.50. It's not going to happen.
We have to leave it there. Thank you so much for your calls.